Coaches, I'm going to say very little in terms of introducing Fiona, because I'd like you yourself to pick up what is her own unique style and her own uniqueness. You would love it. What I would say is that Fiona's been in the field of personal and professional development, right? For about 30 years. Am I right?
Oh, a little more. I wouldn't like to say my age, but quite a long time.
Oh, okay. Over 30 years. So I'll call it over 30 years.
Yeah.
He has a background in social sciences, teaching at university, research, and in psychotherapy. So we can get a very good sense of the wealth of experience, knowledge, and wisdom she has and bringing into the call today. There's a lot more to say about Fiona, and if you click on that link, you'll be able to read a lot more about her. So I'm not going to repeat what was said. I'd love for you to get an experience of Fiona. So I'm going to hand over to Fiona to discuss our topic today, transpersonal coaching. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank you, Cindy, very much. I must say it was a joy to be on the call with you earlier.
Thank you.
Because you raised issues and questions that are very close to my heart. And the word that came across to me was the word calling. Because I do believe I've had a calling to work alongside people to help them develop. And it came to me very early in life in the form of my survival skill, my rather tumultuous family. I felt I wanted to help my parents get on better. And I was woefully inadequate as a child, of course. But what I've learned as I've grown up is that I don't need to help people. I want to help people. And I think that for me is the difference. But my need was so strong. I didn't really realize, it probably took me into my 30s before I realized that my calling, my real calling, was to work alongside people on their developmental journey. So that's just another wee piece of introduction for you.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say, again, to this group, who maybe weren't on the earlier call, was I had to discover my vulnerability as a human being to find my real self. I hid that from myself for a long time. So part of my calling to come to blossom, if you like, is that I'm a frail human being as well as a very strong human being. And that's part of my signature.
Yeah. We're going to discover a lot about that today, the calling, your inner self, and your discovery around the vulnerability that showed up in your strength.
Yes.
Or that you have different parts.
And that's what people are drawn to me, why people are drawn to me.
Yeah.
As I own, and I don't speak of it much, my vulnerability, they sense they can be vulnerable too.
Yeah. So isn't that a wonderful place to be in, where you're with a professional who's feeling an equal or a similar vulnerability as you are, which means we don't have to hold up any guards.
Exactly. And sometimes I think I'm so blessed to be able to be, I mean, I'm in my mid-70s now, and I never ever believed I would still love to be working. I thought, I'd probably just put my feet up and read a book or something. But I love my work, and I love being alongside people. And I really do feel strongly that since I've taken on a transpersonal perspective, which actually allows me to reframe my work as I'm on a soul journey with people. We all are. And so they may have problems and issues and concerns. That's true. But behind us all and around us is a soul journey. So I can be with people and I can see, now there's something wanting to come here. I wonder what it is. There's a calling. I had a conversation with a woman this morning who said, do you know, what I really want to talk about is my sense that I'm not in the right business. There's a lot of consultancy work, and she's feeling tearful and upset because it means leaving colleagues she's grown to love But wait a minute, there's another voice coming. Now, whose voice is that? It's the voice of her soul. And she's feeling it all throughout her whole being. And she's anxious because she ought to feel happy, but she doesn't. And I said, I wonder if the idea of the hero's journey would help you here. Because when we are called, it's a deeply unsettling time. And in a way, to allow ourselves to let go of the present time and journey down into the unknown. We are frightened, we are anxious, and we can find helpers.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to help you as best I can. It's your journey and I'll walk along with you. And her shoulders dropped. She said, well, that's really useful, thank you. A small example of a transpersonal intervention, if you like.
Yeah.
And then another person I spoke to yesterday has just retired from full-time work. And she said, I've really been unwell. My body is just feeling sore and tired. I said, well, do you know, I'm not surprised. You've worked for 45 years in a very demanding job. She was actually a teacher of autistic children. I said, you're in transition and you're recovering. This is another part of your cycle. Your journey is going through another cycle. And your body's telling you, rest. Be quiet, reflect. And she said, well, funny enough, that's what my husband are doing because he's just retired as well. Now I feel better because I know I'm on a journey, I'm on a path. So maybe a similar example, but that's what reframing from a transpersonal viewpoint allows people to do, to see the bigger picture. And of course, I learned that for myself as well, because I'm on a journey towards, you know, the last phase of my working life. Not sure when that'll be, but it'll end, but it will one day. So
it's not, sorry, you go ahead.
That's just a start for further conversation.
It sounds like there's a deep partnership.
Yeah.
A very co-creative one, you know, I can't find another word, but a joint partnership, like a creation in the moment between two people. So transpersonal coaching sounds like that to me from what you're just describing.
Yes.
But for the purpose of the coaches, Fiona, speak a bit more about the style of coaching. What is transpersonal coaching?
It's about creating a safe space within which people can explore, reflect, start to think more deeply about what is my purpose in life? What am I here for? And you'll know, because you mentioned the hero's journey, that Joseph Campbell says at one point, I've climbed to the top of the ladder in my career, and actually the ladder's up the wrong wall.
Yeah.
You know, I met a lot of executives when I did more executive coaching, and many of them said this. I'm feeling ill at ease. I'm not spending enough time with myself. You know, I'm an introvert and I've got to be a lot of extrovert in my work. And I need more time to be myself. So we could explore together, well, what is it you really need more time for? For many, it was with their families. One of them had a novel he wanted to write. One of them wanted to travel. And so to provide a space where these deeper questions can be asked. And for many of us, we long for meaning and we long to have a purpose in life and we long to matter. And these are often not questions that come to us if we're busy improving performance. And especially when performance is good enough, these other things start to bubble up. So transpersonal coaching allows us, gives us a frame of reference to ask deeper questions. And it helps that we've asked them of ourselves. Your screen is frozen. I went, there you are. Is it okay if I speak more? Yeah, it helps if we've also asked ourselves these deeper questions. So a transpersonal coach, to be really effective, needs to be working transpersonally with themselves, either with a coach themselves or in a group, because that frame of reference needs to be real, authentic. to link to the previous webinar. So, so one more thing, and I was going to actually...
You go ahead.
Sorry, please go on. Do you have a question?
Also, that the coach, discovers things as time goes on about themselves and how that shows up in coaching. Am I right?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. What can I say? I'm just trying to think of an example for you. I discovered that I have a deep sadness about not having had children. One of my clients said to me, I've decided to have a termination. I'm really not ready to have a child. And I just burst into tears. And we sat together and I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. She said, no, it's okay. It's okay. Let's just be together with your sadness. And actually, I've got sadness too. Now, that to me was such a moving and loving moment to connect me into a deep feeling, which I had acknowledged, but maybe not as fully as I thought. So there's reciprocal learning. And I think that's rather wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. You were going to show me something or share something.
I was going to read a poem. And it's about what we do with our fear of being...
Yeah.
Can I read the poem? Okay. It's
yes, of course.
A poem by Wendell Berry, American. I go among the trees and sit still. All my stirring becomes quiet around me, like circles on water. My tasks lie in their places where I left them, asleep like cattle. Then what I am afraid of comes. I live for a while in its sight. What I fear in it leaves it, and the fear of it leaves me. It sings, and I hear its song. Now, I wanted to read that, and I see you looking pensive, because it seems to me a lot of our work is about embracing our full humanity, and our fullness includes fear and darkness and worry and anxiety. And in the transpersonal perspective, we say all is welcome. All is welcome.
Meaning all different aspects of the client.
Yes, and of ourselves.
The vulnerability and of ourselves is
fear,
in the total picture of the coaching.
Everything. Yeah.
But that's beautiful. It's like the total human being in me together with the total human being of my client.
Yeah. And of course, that releases energy. We're not trying to do anything. We're being together. It's about being. And Ram talked about all the lovely things he's learned and done in his life. And all of that can come together in that moment of being with. And then we can be curious, we can be sad, we can be puzzled. And we stay with that. What's happening right now between us that we can learn together? And sometimes it's lovely not to have a goal, but to say what's here. And perhaps the most important thing I've learned in the last few years is that our body speaks all the time. It's like we've got a big ear in our body and a big mouth. It hears what's happening to us and it speaks to us. So this woman who wasn't very well, her body spoke to her about what she needed. Some many years ago, I had a lot of trouble with my gynecologicals. And it spoke to me in such a way that I just had to pay attention. You know, until then, I was all head, deeply, deeply intellectual. You can see all the books. I'm still deeply intellectual, actually. But anyway, I also had a body, and my body was calling me. And I think in transpersonal coaching, we allow the body to speak as well as the mind. So the heart speaks, and when the heart speaks, you take good notes. And when the body speaks, you say, what are you here to tell me today? So it's all of it. And I think that's rather wonderful.
I found that when you're younger, and if the body says something, you can ignore it.
Exactly.
But as you get older, when the body talks, you pay attention quickly.
Yeah, like we stiffen up, we hold back. Our bodies reveal it all.
Yeah, a good example is when you're younger, and you can be as sick as the dog, but you say, I have to go to work today, and you will. Or I've got that task to do, and I'll do it. And just ignore whatever the body said, and maybe you can get away with it. But as you get older, body talks, and now you pay attention.
And you know, Carl Jung would say that's the body biologically seeking wholeness. He was right. Do you know what, Cindy? I've noticed there's lots of chats going on. I'd love to hear what people are saying. Maybe there are questions.
Exactly.
Please, could you
So Magda, I was going to ask you, can you open some people, please? I'm sure they would love to ask Fiona a question or two.
Sure. So just FYI, I'm keeping track of the questions in case we don't get to all of them. But anyone who wants to ask a question or make a comment on video, please use the raise your hand feature inside Zoom. And actually Ram wants to ask something, so I'll unmute him.
Lovely. Hi, Ram.
There we go.
Yeah, hi, Fiona. Fiona, there were a couple of questions on the chat box. One, someone asking about what exactly is transpersonal coaching, why is it different from other coaching, and another person asking about techniques. I just wanted to share something of my experience with you, talking to you. It's not been for very long, and since Cindy knows, and many of the people who are training with us to mastery programs, they know that. And I told all of them, if there's one thing that you do in the next 2 weeks, please attend Fairness session. I think that the point that you made was at some points in time in coaching, there are no goals. And to me, that's really the entire framework of transpersonal coaching. And the first time that I heard this word was from John Whitmore's book. And the little that I have interacted with you, you absolutely personalize that. And you haven't talked yet, and you haven't gotten to that energized mode of love that you talk about in transpersonal coaching, which is your signature. And I have worked with people who have worked with you, who worship you. And there is something about the way that you interact, where it's, as you said, it's about the body, it's about the heart. And that's something completely changes the field of activity with a client, which is no longer about the client or the situation, a much larger space. And I don't know how to describe it. I mean, you are using a word called transpersonal. I think it's a very limiting word. For many people, it doesn't mean a thing. It's probably one of the deepest spaces of spirituality that I have experienced when talking to you. May seem very facile, maybe seem a cliche, but to me, that is what embodied in the kind of coaching that you do. Perhaps there is something that you can talk about it, because when people talk about what techniques you use and so on, I'm sure there's very relevant reasons why they ask that. But I'm not very sure that you would be able to teach somebody the techniques of how Fiona comes across from her heart and body. Yeah.
Bless your dear heart. Thank you so much. Yeah. What I'm aware of is that the technique is the self with a capital S. And our love of our fellow human beings and our willingness to accompany them on their journey wherever it takes them. And it's an intention, it's a philosophy, a way of being. And as we embrace that way of being, in a way, it's not a technique, it's a way of being. And I think we are all on a spiritual path, a spiritual journey. As in a way, it's like, you know, we're on a vertical course throughout our lives, the soul's journey, if you like. And we're also on a horizontal course, which is earning our living, raising our kids, doing the shopping. And both are important. And as we neglect this vertical element, this horizontal element gets more and more difficult because we need both, heart and mind and soul. And an Irish theologian called John O'Donoghue wrote a lovely book called Anam Cara, meaning soul friend. And I think when we can allow ourselves to be soul friends with our clients, then this journey of being available to explore the deeper meaning of our lives becomes possible. So I would recommend, if anyone wants some lovely, lovely poetry and story that comes out of Ireland. Gosh, the Irish do have it, don't they? So love, poetry, stories, all of these have a bearing on engaging in a transpersonal way with ourselves and our clients. Now, it looks like somebody...
Fiona, earlier on, you were talking about this way of being, and you described it beautifully. But, you know, the question I have, there's no but, just the question I have, you know, not everybody finds it so easy to go into a way of being.
So what?
So the question I'm asking you is, you know, just for the purpose of sharing from your own wisdom, how do we go there? Some techniques or some ideas or some guidelines that we could that coaches can walk away with?
Lovely, I love that. Thank you, Cindy. What I've discovered throughout my own life is I've had a lot of therapy because I was pretty messed around. And what I discovered was that the best therapy for me was with a transpersonal therapist. And what she taught me was to find a way to allow myself to dive into the depths of my being and discover my core self. My core self, I'll show you, lives somewhere around here. I think in some traditions it's called the hara, the ground, the center. And so I started to practice Tai Chi. I trained in Reiki. I did a number of body practices. And that helped me discover my center, my soul, my hara. And I feel I've not got anything, I'm not wearing shoes at the moment, so I've got my feet on my carpet. And I'm feeling the ground under my feet. And so I think the more we can allow ourselves to move out of our chattering minds and into our body, the soul sits there, it seems to me, and is waiting to talk to us about ourselves. What is your true purpose in life? You might. The other thing we can do is listen to our dreams, because in our dream selves lies much wisdom. So if you can find someone to work with you on your dreams, please do that. Perhaps I'm chattering too quickly, but I'm trying to answer your question. There are many routes to the soul, to the self. And it will require us to take risks, you mentioned that too, to go into the darkness. Let's face it, life's full of darkness as well as light. If we only stay in the light, we miss the richness. Somebody wrote a book called Dare the Dark. I can't remember who it was, doesn't matter. There's a lovely Buddhist saying, hold the pain and suffering of samsara in your heart, and the beauty and the power of the great eastern sun. Then the warrior can make a proper cup of tea. Did you see? So it's like allowing all, and not grabbing it and saying, oh, I feel this, but saying, this is what's happening to me at the moment. I sense I feel this, I sense I feel that. And I see the power of the great eastern sun. And I'm going to make a cup of tea. So it sounds a bit absurd, but it's like, how can we encourage ourselves and our clients to hold everything while it's there and then let it go? Because there's also, like in England at the moment, blossom on the trees, and looking gorgeous. And it's like helping people to make that journey into themselves, find what's there, allow it to be there, then let it go. Because there's something else there too. And it could be another calling. So,
our coach is on the call, Michael. I can see his question on his face.
Sure.
Michael, you go ahead.
Hello.
Good morning or good afternoon, I guess it is. Wonderful session. Yeah, Ram was talking about spirituality, and you were talking about that deep personal connection. And it reminded me, although I'm a half Irish, of a French philosopher, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin.
Oh, I love his work. Yes.
Right. So we are not we are not human beings in search of a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings immersed in a human experience.
Wonderful.
And that always comes up to me when I'm connecting with a client. What is sure, there's that surface area of grasping in Buddhist terms of wanting to achieve something but not being satisfied. And for me, I'm always looking at what is that spirit behind this facade of a person trying to communicate that we can really work with.
Super, lovely, thank you. I was going to quote Teilhard de Chardin. I've got a piece of paper here with his words on it, and you've said them how wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Patrick, you want to go ahead?
Hi, Patrick.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
I'm so glad I was able to make this, Fiona, because I had to chuckle. I actually got my doctorate in transpersonal psychology 41 years ago.
Whoa!
And then I had to kind of hide it away for a while because that word became mixed up with hippies and all the other weird stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's made its way into coaching. And when I gave up being a psychologist, even though I was very Jungian and very Maslowian, et cetera, coaching seems to be a better platform for embracing the transpersonal because it's simply whole person, use what works,
Yes.
heart, mind, body, mind, spirit. So
Super.
thank you for opening this conversation.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's lovely to see you and hear you. I've read your stuff for years and I love
Thank you.
what you have to say. I did my transpersonal training 25 years ago, so
Well,
I'm an old hand. So it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
But you're right. It's so much easier for people to, in coaching, to embrace this now. The zeitgeist is changing, isn't it? We're all searching for something that takes us out of some of the awfulness that's going on into another realm, so we can hold both.
Right. Yeah, the word sounded weird for a while because it came out of the humanistic movement, which was a little disheveled in terms of research, but it was fun for those of us participating. But you know, the word, I mean, Maslow kind of coined it. Well, Jung used it, Assagioli used it in psychosynthesis, but Maslow's last book that wasn't finished when he died, The Farther Reaches of Human Nature, was really touching on something beyond the personal. And that's what transpersonal is. So when we partner with coaching clients, we're really in a transpersonal relationship.
Yes. And Michael said that, didn't he, a moment ago, that you sense there's something there, and I love the phrase call forth. We help someone to call forth that part of them.
Right.
And listen to it with body, mind, and spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, John Whitmore, he's done a lot for transpersonal coaching.
Yeah.
What a dear man. Oh, it was so sad when he died. What a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah, he was an old friend of mine for sure.
Oh,
and
super.
we had some interesting connections. We went back to Esalen Institute and found out we were probably there at the same time.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, there were a whole group of you guys. In fact, I was trained by, did you ever meet Ian Gordon Brown?
Yes.
Yeah. He trained me. Yeah. So there are a lot of you, let's say old stages, if you forgive me.
Wise elders.
Wise, oh, that's lovely. I like that even better. Let's join the hurrah for the wise elders. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wise elders.
Super.
Well, I'll let you carry on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Anu, you have a question or a discussion with Fiona?
Yeah, somebody else wants to?
Anu?
Hi, Fiona. So wanted to check with you. I think what you've just brought about is very beautiful. But at times I feel there is a contradiction, because from what we learn and in a coaching practice, that you really need to, as a coach, leave yourself out and just concentrate and be with the client. So how does this blend, and what you're saying looks to be very seamless because you're there as a whole with the client, and you're also journeying your own path as well as discovering for the client what they are experiencing. Um, you know, realistically and holistically, it sounds very beautiful, but more so in a professional executive coaching kind of a scenario where I talk about daily. I'm an in-house coach for my company, so when you talk about day-to-day working relationships, many a times people do not really share their whole being with yourself. So how does this work? How do you transcend that barrier and then really make it a holistic experience for both?
That's a lovely question. Thank you so much. May I give you an example from my work? I was coaching a woman who was on the point of transitioning to a more senior role in her company, and she was very frightened, and she wanted to talk to me about her fear. So we went into her body. Where do you feel your fear? Oh, well, it's in my chest. So let's just, if you put your hand on your chest, I said, I'll do it with you. We were on virtual. And I said, just breathe into that place and talk to me from your fear. What do you sense? And what she came up with is an image of her father telling her she wasn't good enough. And she was afraid she wouldn't be good enough for her new boss. So I said, okay, now just take your hand further down and put it on your lower belly and breathe, because we've discovered something that really matters to you. I'll do it with you. So I'm doing it with myself now. So we both breathed into our lower belly, and I said, how are you doing? Oh, I feel a bit calmer now. So what are you noticing? Is this boss your father? Well, no. He's actually not really like my father, but I think part of him is. He's very exacting, really quite demanding, but he's also very supportive. He actually wanted me to be promoted. So she began to see that there was an echo of the past that actually reminded her of something which actually wasn't entirely relevant to now. And I would call that a transpersonal intervention. So for a moment, we left her worry, her promotion, or whatever, and explored the deeper process that she was in touch with my help. So in that moment, we worked together, as I described. So I was fully present with her, feeling her fear. And then as she began to calm herself, feeling that calm place coming. So is that an example that you could learn from?
I think very well articulated. And I think, yes, we all do this, but then we really maybe, for me, I think the term transpersonal is new. So maybe we're trying to we do it intuitively,
Yes.
But I think one needs to do it a little more consciously to say that, do we really, so as a coach, am I constantly looking at my chatter saying, am I getting too personal? Am I getting into too much of an intimate space? So I think one should, I feel it's a learning for me that I should stop doing that and just, go with the flow. Because if you go with the flow, then you're not putting barriers in your own thought process.
That's right.
And you're allowing to be there completely in the moment for yourself and also for your clients. So I think it's when you talk about reciprocal learning, I think I'm trying to put two and two together here. So thank you so much.
How lovely. I really appreciate your response. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good sharing, Dave. Thank you, Anu.
Fiona, Cindy, I just want to make, I just want to make a small observation here. I think what Anu said is probably shared by many, many people.
Yeah.
And what happens is, what I have been discovering for a while is that the way that we interpret the competencies, we put boundaries for ourselves. We have certain limitations that we set for ourselves. Anu, for your information, I met Fiona as a supervisor of coaches, and she's a supervisor of supervisors. She's one of the founders of the entire process of supervision. And one of the accepted practices of supervision is to be able to share what you notice, what your reflections are. And actually, if you really go deeper into the understanding of ICF competencies, it's allowed. But the way we are taught that is no, it's not allowed. The moment you say that, it becomes leading, it becomes advice, it becomes that. And therefore, even like you said, I dare not say what I feel. So one of the things Cindy does in our mastery training sessions is, why don't you say what you notice rather than what you should be saying according to competencies? And that's really the Fiona's way of working at things. So when we break those barriers, it's really transpersonal coaching in some ways goes beyond what we might call a mastery level of coaching.
I think it's
yes,
another level. Yeah.
You've understood all the rules and regulations. Now, okay, they don't matter anymore because you're so deeply embedded in that. And in her case, it's about the whole love and compassion and everything else. So that resonates. So I'll just leave it there. So I completely empathize with what you're saying. And this is a problem that I have faced before. Pretty much everybody who's aspiring to mastery level in coaching faces. But if you start understanding this, and one of the ways of doing that is move into the space of supervision of coaches, then you will understand how to be a master coach, as well as how you would be able to express your feelings without feeling limited by them.
Yes, I think this is such an important point because both of you have made actually. We are rule-bound by much in society and our professional training, and eventually it starts to chafe. And we think, actually, I think I'd rather do this, or I'd rather say that. And eventually we can shed all that and start to become really who we actually are. And it takes time. It can take a lifetime. And the main thing is to find somebody who'll say, hooray, you're on this path. Let's work together so you can be even more of your true self. And let go of some of the rules that we need to start with. It's like, you know, on children's bicycles, they have these external wheels. And we can throw the wheels away and ride away on our own. So anyway, there we are.
There's a coach without whose name is not appearing on screen. Do you have a question?
I think Cindy's referring to the person who has a screen name A455450.
Yes. I don't want to ignore that there is somebody there. So, Coach.
That's okay. If you want to, I'm going to take that person off. If they want to raise their hand again, I'll promote them to panelist again.
Okay. Michael, you are back, so you can go.
Yes, I just wanted to tie what you were saying and what Ram was saying into what you were talking about earlier. And what's bringing up for me is this idea of levels of consciousness, whether it's the Cook-Levenger or the Wilber or the Keegan, the idea of moving from a socialized mind to a self-authoring mind.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about the ladder on the wall, it just struck me as that's someone who's basically saying, you know what, I want to get on with my direction and where I want to go. And I'm just wondering how much of that factors into your approach and transpersonal coaching.
Thank you, Michael, so much, because I was going to mention that at some point, and you've raised the whole question of what can we learn about our own adult development that will really help us. And what will help us is once we become comfortable with uncertainty, ambiguity. There are few truths in the world. Perhaps death and taxes are the only truths, really. And that's a level of development that it's taken me a long time to reach. And I think that's been supporting my transpersonal approach. I'm comfortable with the darkness. I'm comfortable with pain. I'm comfortable with ambiguity. And I see the world through many different lenses now that I didn't when I was younger. So thank you very much for raising that point about adult development. It's really important. Super.
So I have a gut sense question that there may be questions we're not asking, but of course you can contribute to. And you know more about that. So please, would you go ahead and cover that, what we're not asking.
Oh, what are we not asking? What are you not asking?
Yeah, what are we not asking that you know more about and we don't have the question as yet?
I tell you, one thing that did occur to me was one of the things that's helped me develop into the perhaps wise elder that I've become is to dance and sing. Because there's something about the freedom of that. Have any one of you done any of Gabrielle Roth's 5 rhythms? You know, we do need something that takes us out of this chattering mind and allows us to feel, oh, I can move, I can dance. I love African music, actually. I just love to, I put a CD on and I'm dancing around in the sitting room. I love it. And all these experiences we can give ourselves, hiking, walking, swimming, that take us into our very being, our very body, that is often just hunched into a chair and looking at a screen, you know. So I think movement is hugely important in developing a transpersonal way of working, a way of being. So that's my little thought that's popped up.
Yeah, again, the movement, you know, links back into the body processes. Yeah, that you mentioned quite a few times already, being present to the body.
Yes, and what Ram said about your comment, which is once we notice what's going on in our own bodies, we may be picking up something from the client. Like this woman who was afraid, my shoulders were going higher and higher as she was speaking. Like, oh, she's afraid. Because we're all on a path of survival since children, since childhood. And once we realize actually we're not unsafe, mostly we're not unsafe, well, maybe in some situations, but we're mostly not unsafe because we're adults and we can take better care of ourselves. Maybe not all women, to pick up on the earlier point from Magda, but
Yeah.
you know, mostly we're safer than we were as children. And we can experiment. So experimentation is another feature of transpersonal work. Shall we try this? I sometimes take people on a guided journey to meet their wise inner being. Imagine that.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Exactly. So up the mountain, there is somebody waiting for you in the clearing in the forest. Or at the top of the mountain if you go even higher. So we've all got an imagination which can be on fire and be ready to teach us when we allow it. Our Western minds are so left brain, analytical, sorting things out. But the right brain has wonders to behold.
You know, we say coaching is a journey from where you are to where you want to be.
And you know what?
I love that you are going into deeper spaces of where we want to be, like our wiser self.
Exactly. And you know what Gertrude Stein said? I wrote this down. I love it if I can find it. Oh, yes. When we want to go there, when we get there, there's no there.
The day disappears. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So work with poetry, with wise sayings, with laughter, as well as tears.
So Michael, you and Vijay are still here. Which one of you has something? Go for it.
Shall I, Cindy?
Go.
Hello.
Michael's going first?
No, you're going. Go, Vijay.
Okay. Fiona, first of all, thank you. I'm quite mesmerized actually. But there's just this one question playing on my mind right now. Who, according to you, is a coach, and how do you describe coaching?
Oh, gosh. Okay, this is the question that I'll have a go at answering. Just, you know, who's a coach and how do I describe it? A coach is somebody who is deeply committed to serve their fellow human beings in whatever they can, whatever way they can. So it's about service and about love and about joining in the journey of development. How's that? Your screen has frozen. Can she hear us? Can you hear us?
Vijay, are you there? Screen is frozen. No, screen is frozen.
Oh.
Michael, you continue, and then we'll come back to Vijay.
Sure, I'll just pick up on that, because what was coming up for me is these are all wonderful abilities that you have and contribute to the growth of the person and their awareness, and they're tapping into who they are. It kind of reminds me of Gene Genlin's focusing, where is that in your body, etc. And I'm just wondering, I think you touched on it, but this idea of offering it or signaling it before you do it, is that something, or do you just go into it? And I'm just curious if...
I offer it.
You offer it, okay.
Would you like, here's an idea. What do you think? Shall we have a little experiment? I'm a gestaltist as well, so I love experiments. Yeah, it is. It has to be an offering and an agreement to go somewhere, which may be a little scary. When I was a gestaltist, I used to use the two-chair thing quite a lot. And I did learn the importance of getting permission. Make an invitation. Shall we? Would you like to?
What do you mean by two-chair approach?
Oh, in Gestalt, we used to say, there's a part of you that wants this and a part of you that doesn't. Shall we put the part of you that does on that chair and have a conversation? Have you come across that?
Yes, I was doing it more for the attendees also to discover that.
That's all I meant, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
Now, we got our last person back.
Vijay, you're back, and we...
Yeah, I missed out the beautiful answer, but I'll catch up with that later. I just lost connection.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Akhil, you want to ask your question?
Fiona, when you say, when you go there, you are not there. I believe it says that there is no time. When you are in the transformational zone, the past, the present, the future is happening at the same time.
Yes, perfect. Yes, it's a timeless space. Yes, thank you for that. Where we're not striving to get somewhere, we're just here. The past is here, and the future's coming towards us, but we're just here. Lovely. Thank you.
And I believe that in that space, the coach allows the client to attune to the future which he is trying to explore.
Yes.
Or the universe is looking for him to get connected to that future.
Yes. Yes.
Where the universe wants to.
Yes.
So in that case, I don't know whether the coach has to even speak a word. He just be there, the client, and he gets the transformation. Why do you require to talk even a single word?
We have to attune and discern what's going to work, don't we, between us? And quietly is a wonderful gift for many people. Let's just sit quietly and see what arises. I sometimes do that with people. You know the Otto Scharmer's U process?
Yeah.
So we have this situation. Let's just let ourselves go down to the bottom of the U and wait and see what's there. Oh, how delicious. Because our minds are not going to tell us. But something else is. So we wait. Thank you for that.
As a human being, it's easier for me to remain in my heart space and gut space. So I gotta admit, my vulnerable moment is keep coming back to my head space and giving and holding the space for this conversation. So, Shanaz, you wanted to say something?
Yes, thanks, Sandy. Hi, everyone. Fiona, love speaking with you. When you said you're a gestaltist, something in me popped, and hence my question. I'm also trained as a Gestalt coach and OD practitioner. And from the previous webinar and this one, it's and your story for me is about the power of the use of self, and how do I work on and with myself as the coach to be the sharpest instrument to work with. So I'm working with a current client, a new client that feels very stuck and have been feeling stuck for the last 8 years in his career. How might I work from a transpersonal stance to work with stuckness and check my own stuckness in order to connect to the client's stuckness?
I love
that, please.
Love the question. And my question for you is, do you have an image of the stuckness?
Yeah.
Would you like to share?
What's it
like?
It's like he's clenching his fist so tightly that, the possibility, the opening up is withheld. It's the tension. It's
so if the fist could speak, what would it say?
I'm tired of the stranglehold.
Yes, yes. And what does that fist need?
Give me some ease. Let me go. Let me stretch.
It might need to be held, might it? To allow it to unfold. That's my image.
I did not see that. I could not see it until you mentioned it.
I think stay with what is and explore it. Stuckness is a wonderful place to be because it's got secrets in there. And I can remember working with my therapist on some stuck place, and she said, I'll sit with you beside it. Let's see. See what's there. That's transpersonal work.
Yeah.
Let's look at this together, see what's there. And as I said, the body speaks. Whether it's a pain in the neck or a headache or a clenched fist.
The curiosity that we explored about the stuckness today was around how might the stuckness have served you?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Brilliant question. Because all the things that we do to tighten ourselves have a purpose. And they're often to protect us from something. So how's that? Is that okay?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Pleasure.
Ram, you look quite reflective a moment ago. Did you have a question there?
Sorry, you asked me something, Cindy?
Yeah, you were sitting there quite reflective for some time. So I thought perhaps you have a reflection point or a question.
No, Vijay was saying she was mesmerized. I was sitting there completely in awe and amazement of what was going on with Fiona. It is as simple as that. There is nothing for me to say. The only thing that I want to come back to is the definition that Fiona gave for what Vijay asked for as a coach. And Vijay earlier made an extremely powerful point in the last session about the authenticity of, and Michael asked a question about the professional and other boundaries. For me, what occurred to me as a question was only this. I don't have a problem when I'm sitting in the coach's chair in being a coach. My problem is that when I'm out of the coach's chair, I would very much like to be a coach still. And that is where my limitations come up. Now, what I see as a role model in Fiona is wherever she is and whatever chair she is, and she is still that coach and completely unlimited by anything and moving far and beyond. So yeah, I'm in complete awe and amazement and learning. Thank you.
Thanks, Ram.
I'm wriggling a bit with that because I'm just me, and it feels slightly difficult to hear that.
Okay. That's fine. That's okay.
That's my signature. I wriggle.
Right.
I wriggle and I get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ram, very much. Yeah.
We have another Ram. Ram, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi. Fiona, this is wonderful. So much bouncing around, it's hard to even ask a question because it opens up so much. But I did feel one thing, you know, I resonate so much with the way you're speaking of how you're working with clients and how you can explore everything from a somatic perspective or just so many perspectives you're bringing in here. I love the whole transpersonal world. The question I really have is, sometimes when I'm in this space with people, we're going into a place that's not very comfortable. And I think as part of being a really truly present and compassionate coach, there's got to be a willingness to join the person in the discomfort and in the not knowing and in the maybe traumatic energies that are coming up. Do you have anything to say about how do you root yourself in yourself in a way that you can be completely available for the other person and not get too wrapped up or swept up in their energetic flow?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question, and I'm often asked this question. And I have an image that I go to. I've got my bare feet on the carpet, and I'm sensing and feeling some of the trauma, the pain, the whatever. And I say to myself, Fiona, just imagine that you're a tree and you're going deep down into your roots at the moment. You're allowing Mother Earth to hold you. Oh. And I come up to my trunk where my strength lies. As I go up into my branches, the wind and the rain will make them go all over the place. I need to be down in my trunk. And I can stay steady with whatever's going on. So I believe in my treeness as a way to stay present with whatever.
Yeah. Thank you. That, you know, I come from a craniosacral background, so we're very oriented towards keeping your own fulcrums. And the tree is a beautiful image. We use the earth or the root fulcrum. So I think that's just something very rich for us as coaches to and
also to allow the transpersonal connection to Father Sky. So like Mother Earth and Father Sky, bring them together here. Mother Earth up through my roots and Father Sky coming down and meeting together with a very particular kind of energy. I learned that in my transpersonal training. It's really...
Yeah, and the idea is then we become available for the client to refer to that place of okayness in us.
And I sometimes say, would you like to learn a way that you could support yourself as you have to bear what you're bearing? Mm-hmm. Because we all have to bear things, and we can bear things by being with them from that core place.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Lovely question. Thank you.
Yeah, insightful. Thank you.
Did Patrick
have Have we reached the end of our time? Are we meant to round up now? Feels like there were too little time, right, Fiona?
I can do another session for you sometime.
Yeah, based on the comments I'm seeing in the chat and just by listening as well, I think everybody here would welcome many more sessions from you, Fiona.
It would be my pleasure.
As I mentioned in the comments, I'm going to get all the questions that weren't answered to Fiona. So if she has a chance to comment on them, then I will make sure that everyone on here gets her answers. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, thank you so much. This was very insightful. And most of you don't know me on this call, but I'm not a coach. So for me, it's hearing all these things fresh with perspective, I think the fact that we need so much value out of it has been truly amazing. I can't imagine how much people who are accredited coaches are getting out of this. So I think this is a great session for everyone. So thank you so much. And thank you for participants' questions as well. It's been really, really good. Fiona, any closing words?
Just bless your dear hearts, all of you. It's such a pleasure to sit with you all. I just wish we had more time.